Hello, hello! JD, Ender of Games here. First off, I would like to ask you to hit that subscribe button and, after all these videos are for you, and in addition, hit the like button if you enjoy my videos. If not, feel free to leave a comment letting me know why. Really, I have no way of knowing how to improve without your thoughts, and I also don't know what I think without knowing what you think. So now I know with the amount of content you've seen me put out this year, you might think quite the opposite, but um, here's a video series to show you just how I end games and the way I go about ending games. And what I mean by that is just get to the end of those games, beating them into a pulp, like I'm, you know, Guts from Berserk. Actually, that's what this character is all about. I really, really enjoy Berserk, and that's one of the reasons why I liked Dark Souls 2. After playing this game, actually, I um I don't like Dark Souls 2 very much. It doesn't feel like it's a complete game, and I'll also be listing lots of reasons why I really enjoyed Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin and how it's a different game, and just giving you little tips and pointers about how I play through it. Now, this is my introduction here, and one of the things that I like to do is I mean, I have a lot of patience, right? So I don't like to feel like the game is just completely stacked against me. So my way of countering that is it's a bit grind heavy. I really I don't mind it. I've got a lot of patience, but I like to make sure that I am high enough level to use the weapons that I want to use whenever I'm doing a playthrough or to take on whatever boss I'm looking to take on. So here in a little bit, actually, you'll notice that I'm going to speed up some of the footage, and then once I get into the boss battles, I'm going to, slow it back down to just the normal speed. So this is actually my first time playing Scholar of the First Sin, and I'm just completely amazed. I really love it. It's fantastic, and yeah. So enjoy, and we're just going to be talking here. I like to explore games a lot as well. I think that's one of the things that I like most about the Dark Souls series, or really any of the Souls games. I'm actually a veteran Souls player. I picked up Demon Souls back in 2009. That was actually when I got my first PS3. So yeah, I don't know. This is my first Souls game, or I guess first time playing the Souls game since playing Bloodborne, and I actually have a little bit I want to talk about on that subject. But yeah, I'm just kind of gonna go through here. What do we got? Look like it's Shalincore. She's very much a cat, if a cat were able to speak, I feel. Um, Eventually this video is actually going to end with the last giant. That's what we're ending today. We're ending the boss, the last giant. It's one of the first bosses you can fight in Dark Souls 2, and also Scholar of the First Sin. And it's actually one of the fights that I enjoy the most, really, just because it's not too easy and it's not too difficult, right? I mean, that's one of the things that everyone says about most Dark Souls games is they don't like the difficulty of them. I'm kind of the opposite of that. I really rather enjoy games that are difficult, just not too difficult. Uh, I actually the first time I played Dark Souls 2, when I got to the Shrine of Amana, I completely just rage quit, and also I'm pretty sure I damaged one of my controllers. But that didn't happen this playthrough, luckily. So here we go. We're doing the time lapse starting now. We got a little bit of time for this, but feel free to definitely skip over that. I fight the last giant a few times, right? So one of the reasons why I do that, and I think it's got a little bit to do with what I was going to talk about with Bloodborne, is since I've played Bloodborne, I feel like I have a completely different experience with Dark Souls. I'm a little bit more aggressive. I wasn't one of the people that used a shield, but I liked to be careful and make sure I know the timing of my enemies and I am not going to lose to them uh, ever. Of course, that's not a very realistic goal, but it's something that I like to strive for. But what I feel playing Bloodborne has done for me, and there is a another content maker that has touched on this, is it's helped me see that I don't necessarily have to always be safe, right? It's okay to not uh, to not make it through a battle because I mean we're playing a game, right? We can come back to it as long as you get your souls back, and this game is about the souls. Then you should be fine. So just gonna do some leveling here. I like to when I'm first starting off actually put as much as I can into vigor, which gives you more health essentially. And then you also want to invest in endurance because that is going to determine the amount of attacks that you can have each battle, right? That determines the amount of times that you can attack. So I feel that's a really important uh, aspect of developing your character that even really uh, I guess not casters so much should consider, but most people doing like physical builds, if you have any kind of physical aspects to your character build. So one of the other things that I actually really like about Dark Souls is you can make your characters any way you want. You know, that's actually a little more difficult to do if you choose one of the classes it starts with. But if you start with the give me a second here. Let me get this pulled up. I don't know why. For some reason, the class I am thinking of has escaped me. So give me a second here. Almost got it here. What do we got? What do we got? Deprived. There we go. Deprived. With the deprived, you can actually start with all of your stats at at about the same. They're all. I want to say they're all at like 6. Let's see actually. Yeah, 6. So you got 6 vigor, 6 endurance, 6 vitality, attunement, strength, dexterity, adaptability, intelligence, and faith. Now, if that's all starting at soul level 1, and if this is the class that is available, it's the one that I always go with, right? Because I mean everything's at a base starting point, and it's not very much. If you, I mean, there are some people who enjoy making balanced character builds. I, for one, actually don't mind them. They've never really worked for me very well with Dark Souls, but I mean, whatever works for you. That's what this game is all about, and that's again what I'm saying that I like most about it. So, fun fact about that player that I guess the NPC we just passed next to that fire. Uh, if you exhaust her character dialogue, she gives you a really useful ring. It I believe is a silver serpent ring +1, and that's one of the first things I always go for in Dark Souls. Because again, it's about the souls, and the more souls you can get, the higher level you can get, the better items you'll be able to acquire eventually. And looky here, I'm level 42. So another thing is in this game you can upgrade your armor, but I don't really tend to focus on that too much in the beginning. As you can see, I like to play without the armor. And the reason that is, because if you have at least 25% of your maximum equipment load that you're able to carry, then you'll be able to roll faster. And uh, dodge rolling in this game is a thing. It's a big thing. It's how you get out of the way. As you can see, I like to take a very, it's pretty specific approach. It's really aggressive, right? Like I get in there, I do as much damage as the amount of attacks I can perform will do, and then I like to get out of the way. But I don't always put a big focus on getting out of the way if I think I can do a little bit more extra damage. But looks like he needs a hand there. Get it? Sorry. So take a very avaricious approach sometimes, but you don't really want to, right? So don't be too greedy. Don't be too greedy. Always be okay with, what the game gives you. I always go for my souls. I've seen some people that just leave them about, and they're probably really skilled players, but I myself, I'm not at that skill level. However, I play games to enjoy them. I always have. Not a very competitive person when it comes to gaming, unless it's like a shooter. I had like a Halo phase for a while, but I don't know. I'm not too big on shooters anymore. Dark Souls, really any of the Souls games, just bring to the game table what I've always wanted in a game. So I kind of want to focus a little bit more on what I like about Scholar of the First Sin. I feel like the enemies are difficult, but they're not too difficult, right? And the AI it's balanced. It's more balanced. It's not where, well, it doesn't look balanced here, but I mentioned the Shrine of Amana earlier in this video, and I feel I was a little bit more prepared for that, or
my God,
it wasn't a thing because of the level I was at. Typically, my rule with leveling in this game is, as long as, I guess for my characters, right? As long as the amount of hours I've put into the game is not greater than the amount of, like, the level I'm at, the soul level I'm at, then I feel like it's a pretty successful playthrough. That's typically my rule. So another thing I liked is placement of items, right? There was this one item that you need in order to infuse your weapons with, like, lightning or magic or dark or blood or like bleed. In Dark Souls 2, where you had to like jump across this ledge that was over a pit of molten lava, which, even if you have like all of your fire res stuff on and equipped and you're using the burrs, it still wasn't enough. Like, it's just a pit of lava, you're gonna die, right? And they actually moved that here. Hoping I got the footage for that, but if I didn't, I plan on, making sure I am covering as much of this game as possible. So when I get into New Game Plus, which I think I've just got like the Dark Liquor left, I'm definitely going to be, filling the gaps in of what I missed here in this playthrough. It's my new game, Scholar. it just has a lot more content, and the placement of enemies is it makes more sense. You know, the item placement makes more sense, and I just overall really enjoyed it. But we're getting to the end of the video here, so I'm just gonna give you my closing and just say I hope you enjoy the video. I hope I've brought something to you here, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, there's a little bell icon, and that will let you know whenever I have an update. And I plan on actually having an update every Thursday. I'm JD, and this is how I ended The Last Giant.